Hello, I'm back. Hello everybody, welcome back to the video / podcast. Hope you're all well. I've been a bit MIA on the podcast and YouTube front over the past few weeks because I've not been very well. I've had that cold lurgy that's been going around over the past few weeks, and I haven't had a cold for like 2 years. So honestly, it's a miracle that I didn't get it earlier, but it hit me and I didn't really have a voice to speak with. So anyway, I'm back. I'm super happy to be back and I hope you are all well. And it's nearly Christmas and I have to film with this background, which I'm not mad about, but the house is just chaos at the moment because if you didn't know already, me and my other half are moving to Cape Town, South Africa in the new year. So as you can imagine, there's just a lot of shit everywhere. So you're blessed with a Christmassy background today and I'm on the floor. But today we're going to speak about how to actually lose weight and keep it off for good in 2025. Maybe you had a weight loss goal this year and you have been so bugged by the fact of maybe you were on and off with your diet. Maybe you haven't reached a goal that you want to get to, or you feel like you're halfway there, but you feel like you've plateaued and trying to take that to the next level. You just don't know the direction or the clarity in order to get there. So hopefully after this video, and I'm going to do 2 more videos after this, so there's a nice little like series running, you should have the exact clarity and knowing what you need to do on your weight loss journey. And I want to give it to you for free because as a coach, I believe that no one really goes into the deep stuff that is actually holding you back. So we're going deep. So anyway, grab a cup of tea. I've got myself a peppermint tea here. It's a Teapigs. I love a Teapigs. Their teas are just so like raw, natural. So anyway, I'm going to take a sip of this and we're going to get started. Who likes my mug, by the way? Driving home for Christmas. There we go. We love it. We love it. We love the Christmas vibes. So on the Christmas theme, like imagine you could actually this time next year come to Christmas and not be worried about ruining your progress, because ultimately that's all we want. We want to lose weight in a way that serves us, in a way that feels easy, in a way that doesn't feel like a chore, and keep it off and knowing and having that assurance that maybe 1 or 2 days of overeating here and there is not the end of the world. And let me tell you it's not, because it's all about averages. Your body isn't going to be like, oh my god, we overate and we're just going to gain fat immediately, like cool, the fat cells, it's time to gain weight. Doesn't work like that. The worst thing that can happen from 2 days of overeating is a little bit of water weight increase on the scales. On that note, if you are easily triggered by the scales, you should probably stay away from them at this time of year. But this episode is going to be all about how you can have your dream body in mind, be able to maintain it for 365 days a year. And today we're going to talk about the elephant in the room you're probably not addressing, that 1 or 2 or 3 things or more that is really holding you back from being consistent. And we all have it. We all have our vices. We all have those things that spiral us into a negative habit loop. And that's all in the brain. And with the majority of people I work with, it's either one of 3 things. Time. I'm too busy. Life just gets in the way. Self-sabotage. I just feel like I can't lose weight. I'm destined to have this body for the rest of my life. Not able to achieve this goal. Not being able to get out of your comfort zone for whatever reason, whether it be fight or flight, whether it be stress, whether it's a subconscious belief that's holding you back. And then what happens is you start and embark on your fitness journey, and then something happens, like a trigger, and that trigger could be one of those 3 things I've just mentioned, or something that's like subcategorized into those things. You get the trigger, then you stop doing the things that make you feel good, i.e. eating better in your diet, exercise and step count, etc. all goes to the toilet. Then you start feeling annoyed with yourself because you're like, why can't I stay consistent? What's going on? And then maybe you go down that self-sabotaging spiral. And then guess what happens after that? Your body then seeks comfort in the things that feel familiar. So i.e., rather than making that extra effort to go to the gym in the evening, you're just going to lay on the sofa and watch Netflix. You're going to choose to hit the effort button when you're out with your gals because you're like, F it, I want to feel good, I want to get that dopamine boost, I want to have a good time, life is short. But then it just makes you feel triggered, irritated, seek comfort in food. Triggered, irritated, seek comfort in food. And that's generally how it goes. Obviously, it can look a little bit different for each and every individual, but as a coach, that's the most frequent pattern I see of self-sabotaging, of triggers, and of staying within the comfort zone. Essentially, what you need to do is you need to identify these triggers. Being aware of them is such an empowering step, and then also tackling them head on in a way that doesn't feel scary or aggressive, so you can work through it and not let it be a cock block to your end goal of weight loss. So let's just put this down to a really generic example. I mean, you could go from emotional eating on this to having a poor relationship with food to having gym anxiety, whatnot. Like, this is just one example of many. Okay, so you've been really consistent in the gym. Maybe you've been going to the gym 5 times a week. Maybe you've been eating really nutrient-dense food, lots of protein, lots of fruit and veg, etc. Lots of salads for lunch. 15 steps a day. 15K steps a day. And then all of a sudden something happens at work and it means that you have to pick up some extra shifts. Sorry, that was my WhatsApp. And let me mute that. It means that you have to do extra shifts. It means that you have to pick up more hours at work. Maybe there's a family situation. Maybe something's happened in life that's thrown you an absolute curveball and you're just like, don't even know, like everything's out the toilet, I've gone completely off the rails and you don't know what to do. Okay, so this is where you do a little reset. So rather than just spiraling into that habit loop of being triggered, doing those things that no longer make you feel good, and then getting into your comfort zone and feeling irritated, feeling triggered, instead, just start thinking about the things you can do. What are your controllables? There's things you can't control in life, and that is things like life events and busyness, etc. What can you control? You can definitely control your nutrition. You can definitely control how much you move your body, right? So rather than going to the gym 5 times a week, set yourself range targets. I love a range target. I set them for my clients all the time because it gives you so much flexibility. Okay, you can't go to the gym 5 days a week anymore. Okay, let's go to the gym 1 to 3 times a week. And it means that even if you do one 10-minute gym session, that's better than doing nothing. So in your eyes, mentally, if you know you've gone to the gym once that week, you've already ticked off a box. If you manage to go 3 times a week, obviously that is a bonus, that is a benefit. But there are just going to be some points in life where you have to give the bare minimum. And it's about accepting that and not being rigid to the fact that you have to get everything perfect all the time. I've been on this journey for 7 years and I can't say that for 365 days of the year I've worked out 5 times a day, I've had a salad every day, because I wouldn't, because to me that's completely miserable. I have balance in my life because I accept that I need to be fluid with life changes. There's going to be times where I don't feel as motivated. There's going to be times where I'm going to be more busy than others. And let me tell you, if you can nail a structure, a plan in amidst all the chaos of the busyness, you're going to be flying when life is a little bit quieter, right? Yeah, basically, if you feel like what you're doing is too much right now, just scale it down. Range targets, and that goes for step count too. Like, look at your current step count average and add like maybe 1,000 to 2,000 steps on top of that. Once you stay consistent with that for a few weeks, move the goalpost, and that's the same with your gym sessions, move the goalpost. Then with your nutrition, for example, maybe I always talk about the 80-20 balance of 80% of the time nutrient-dense foods, 20% of the time less nutrient-dense foods. Maybe you're at a point now where 80-20 doesn't seem realistic. Okay, make it more 50-50. Then make it 60-40. Then 70-30. I'm not very good at maths. Had to really think about that. But you get what I mean. Like, strip it back and then build it back up again. Because if you're constantly harsh on yourself like a freaking army militant man or like a coach or Olympic athlete, I mean, that's not what we're training for one. We just want to live our best lives, right? But also, like, giving yourself that tough love too much can definitely make you push the other way, and again lead into those self-sabotaging behaviors. And what's so damaging about self-sabotage is that you tell yourself something often enough, you really start to believe it. Like, I guarantee you, when you self-sabotage and tell yourself you're not good enough, tell yourself that you can't stay consistent, tell yourself that you're never going to lose this weight, I want you to think right now of a significant other in your life, your friend, your family member, your husband and or wife, and imagine if they said that to you all the time. You're not good enough. You're rubbish. You can't stick to this. What is wrong with you? Oh, you're probably going to divorce them or disown them or not be their friend. So why is it okay for you to do it to yourself? Because it's one of those things. It's the same with bullying. You're basically bullying yourself. But when a bully starts telling you something long enough, you do start to believe it, right? So a subconscious protection barrier of feeling failure. Like, a lot of us don't realise this, but our subconscious is very, very powerful. And sometimes there'll be things that happen in life, even bullying when you're at school or something a friend said to you in the past or an event that's happened in your life. And we're not going to go that deep today, but there could be something in your life that's giving you a subconscious of that you're probably going to fail at something, okay? And what comes with that is those limiting beliefs that you cannot do the things you set out to do, so you just stay comfortable. It's your subconscious's idea of protecting you, because the thoughts of feeling, shame, judgment, uncertainty, is this weight loss program going to work, is this diet going to work, so the feeling of it is just, you do not want to feel that feeling, because maybe you felt it before at a time in your life that's completely different and doesn't even relate to your weight loss journey. But your subconscious ties 2 and 2 together and says, we do not want failure, so we're just going to do all our best to avoid it. And then guess what? What happens then? It makes you really struggle to put 100% into things like weight loss. And I'm not standing here fobbing you off and saying you don't work hard enough. I'm sure you do. But it's something in your brain that you probably don't even realise you're conscious of doing. And it will be little things like, you know, if you know that you need to go to the gym this evening, but you're just like, can't be bothered, I think I'm just going to lay on the sofa instead. And you kind of have that voice in your head being like, nah, it's okay, let's just lay on the sofa. And then again, you start spiralling into that habit loop we've been talking about. So that is your subconscious saying like, oh, if we put 100% into this, guys, probably going to fail. And then therefore not putting your 100% into it is almost your subconscious protecting you from hitting that next level of success. And for my clients that I coach, a lot of them are very busy businesswomen or mums or etc. And when you start hitting that next level, that next threshold, and I get it too when I start to do something where I feel extremely uncomfortable, you kind of hit a block and then that self-sabotage starts kicking in. And what happens when that self-sabotage starts kicking in, it makes you again go into that spiral and that loop. You just need to be aware of it. You just need to be conscious that's going to happen and to make a plan of stripping it back, going back to basics and building it back up again. And knowing that you do not want to live by these characteristics, that voice is just going to get smaller and smaller every single time when you have that structure, when you have that routine. So to finish off this episode, I've got some journaling prompts for you. And whether you want to call it journaling, whether you want to just call it writing, it's completely up to you. But if you're watching this on Spotify podcasts or YouTube, I'm going to pop the thing here. If you're just listening on a walk or you're cleaning and you kind of just want to hear the gist of it, I definitely recommend coming back and watching the video or just writing this down. So, number one, you need to identify your triggers to low motivation, lack of consistency. So what are those triggers that we've said today that are stopping you? Is it busyness? Is it because you self-sabotage a lot? Is it because you've got low confidence? Is it your environment even? There's no right or wrong answer to this, but you need to write it down. You need to start identifying. Then number two, what are the feelings, thoughts, habits that come with these triggers? So that could be choosing not to go to the gym, choosing to hit that F-Fit button, choosing to not exercise as intensely, choosing to half-ass it. Okay, so you need to identify these things and then we'll go on to the next step. So like I said, I'm going to make these episodes like a 3-part thing because there's just so much to cover on this. So I want you to write those things out first and then I'll see you again whenever the next video is going out, I don't know. For the next one, I won't leave you hanging for too long, don't worry. But I really hope you enjoyed this episode and you found it insightful, and stay tuned for part number 2.